Hey y'all, my name is Adina Barnett Miller, but I'm known to my students as Mrs. B. I've been passionate about West Virginia history for as long as I can remember, but my mom would tell you it all started when I was 3 years old and she bought me a West Virginia counties puzzle at Gino's Pizza. I've taught history in Ripley, West Virginia for over 20 years now, and I'm an adjunct professor who teaches college West Virginia history to high school students. Please join me for West Virginia History with Mrs. B, a field trip across the Mountain State to walk in the footsteps of those who came before us. Hey y'all, it's West Virginia History with Mrs. B coming to you from my kitchen. And so today I want to share some exciting things with you. I am a Jackson County native. I live in Jackson County. My family has been in Jackson County for over 200 years. And so one of the lines that has been here for over 200 years is my Boswell line. My mom's dad was a Boswell, and he graduated from Ripley High School in 1946, where I teach, so I'm third generation Ripley High School graduate. And after he spent time fighting in the Korean War, he's going to come back to Jackson County and he's going to need a job. And so very exciting news for Jackson County in the 1950s was that Henry Kaiser decided to build a plant here, and that plant was going to manufacture aluminum. And so that changed everything for Jackson County. Jackson County was very isolated, rural county where most people were just engaged in agriculture, and the plant changed everything for Jackson County. And so my grandfather, Jack Boswell, not only was hired on as a native Jackson County, which was kind of rare because they brought most of the people in to work at the plant, but he was hired on to build the plant, and they liked him so much that they kept him. And so he spent his entire working career at Kaiser Aluminum. He'll work there until he retires in the 1980s. And so Kaiser liked to give out swag to its employees. They wanted their employees to buy into the culture of what was happening at the plant. And by the way, in Jackson County, we just call it the plant. And that's still how we refer to it today because they're still producing aluminum here in Jackson County over 6 decades later. And they wanted their employees to be invested in what was happening at the plant, and so they produced all kinds of swag for their employees. They also had what was called KARA, K-A-R-A. It was the Kaiser Aluminum Recreation Area, and they had big events every year for employees to bring their kids. And even one time they're going to go out and they're going to give their employees aluminum Christmas trees. So all over Jackson County, everybody who worked at the plant had aluminum Christmas trees. They used them for decades. And if you are lucky enough, your family still has that aluminum Christmas tree. My grandma gave hers away in the 1970s and she totally regretted it. So I'm telling you all this because I want to show you some Kaiser aluminum swag, okay? So this was stuff that was given out to employees at different times, basically as promotional items to honor big moments in Kaiser history. So the first piece that I'm going to show you is this big bar of aluminum. And if you read that bar, it says, first aluminum produced in Ohio Valley at Kaiser Ravenswood. And so this bar of aluminum was the first to be smelted in 1957, in November 1957, when the plant opened. And so this was like the very first piece of Kaiser promotional stuff. This thing is heavy, by the way. But there are people all over Jackson County who, you know, if their family has passed this stuff down, they have these bars that were given out in 1957 to celebrate the first smelting of aluminum in Jackson County. So the next piece, this is something my grandfather had, and I treasured it all throughout my childhood, is this ashtray. And as you can see, all this stuff is made of aluminum. That was, you know, part of the swag. And so this ashtray was given out to the employees in 1959. You'll see there, it says May 18th, No, yeah, May 18th, 1959. It says we made it, and it has that iconic Kaiser Aluminum smokestack that is still even at the plant today, even though it's not being used. And it says, we made it, 1 million safe hours, let's keep climbing. And so, they gave out an ashtray as a swag item. So this is another piece that a lot of folks have from their relatives who worked at the plant at one time. Another piece that I'm going to show you is this aluminum mug, and it was given out to the pot room guys in 1964, and so it was for 1 million man hours in the pot room. So pot room is where they actually did the aluminum smelting. Like they took and made a liquid aluminum into something that could be produced into something like this or something like this. And so this was hot, dangerous work. My grandfather worked in the pot rooms. This is really hard work. And so these guys were given these mugs to celebrate 1 million man hours. The next piece I'm going to show you is this little lighter, because you got to have a lighter to go with your ashtray. And so this was given out. It's part of celebrating the Kaiser Cup. I'm not sure exactly what the Kaiser Cup was, but Ravenswood received the Kaiser Cup in 1967, 1968, and 1969. And so everybody got one of these awesome Kaiser Aluminum, made in the USA, aluminum lighters, because you got to have a lighter to go with your ashtray. And I got a couple other small pieces. This is a Kaiser Aluminum money clip, which is very, very cool. And then I also have this metal piece. This is an aluminum piece as well, and it says Kaiser, together we build with safety. So they're all about building morale and building safety. So I did mention that the plant is still open today. It's not like it once was, where over 5,000 people worked at the plant. Only half of the plant is still open. The pot rooms have long been closed and shuttered, and the plant is now owned by Constellium. And there are still lots of people who work in Jackson County at the plant. Over 1,200 people still work there, and it's the largest single employer in Jackson County, and it is the number one part of our tax base. They pay, Constellium pays more taxes than any other business in Jackson County. And so here we are over 6 decades later, and the plant is still, producing, and it's still giving back to the community. So much of what is here in Jackson County that exists is in large part because of the plant. Ravenswood pretty much quadrupled in size because of the plant. Ripley grew as well. We ended up with things like Jackson General Hospital, which was paid for out of the paychecks of the Kaiser employees. And so, so much of what we take for granted in Jackson County, West Virginia, as being, part of our middle class lifestyle, goes back to what happened at the plant and what's happened for the last 6 decades. So I hope you enjoyed checking out this stuff. I'm going to show you one more time because it's just so stinking cool. I'm really excited to have these pieces. Like Kaiser's a huge part of Jackson County heritage. And so it's one thing to talk about something, but it's another thing altogether to hold history in your hands. And so that's why I got these things, is so I can share them with my students, and my students can be proud of their Jackson County heritage. So thanks for joining us. Thanks, y'all, for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to West Virginia History with Mrs. B on both Facebook and YouTube.